A JoyBusiness survey in collaboration with iPoll.gh.com on the expected impact of the 2019 budget has revealed people expect little or no effect on their lives. 9% of respondents said promises made in the budget are not achievable or sustainable, and 40% said the budget will not leave them better off. Norvan Akwa-Hayford is with JoyBusiness, and he joins us with more details. First, Norvan, why did we need to have this survey, and what was the method, basically?
Okay, so Bernice, it was important that we find out from people what the budget 2019 means to them. I mean, for us on the JoyBusiness desk, we saw that many years, several themes had been thrown at people. You have finance ministers comes, they spend long hours, more than 3 hours reading these budgets. But do the people really understand, and do they have that belief that these budgets could have some impact, whether government is reviewing the taxes, whether they are introducing new ones, they are scrapping infrastructure, and all the things that various government comes to say. So we've decided that going forward, we'll be doing a lot of these surveys to find out what these things mean to the people of Ghana. And so this time around, after the 2019 budget, we sought to collaborate with iPoll.gh, and we just did a week, which is the polling period or duration was from the 19th to 25th of November. And it's interesting that we got 188 respondents. And this is something that is done online.
Okay.
So the iPoll.gh is accessible to everybody across the world, not only in Ghana. Okay. And so the methodology simply means that you need to just have the mobile application, you download it. It's also a web-based one. You can sit behind your computer and then go through it. And so we sent some questions to the iPoll.gh, they uploaded them, and you got 188 people taking part, trying to share their views with us with regards to what they think. And it will interest you to see the demographics, the kind of people that took part in this particular survey. In terms of gender, you had 74% of the people being male, and then 27% being female. Let's look at the age demographics. And the age demographics, if you take a look at it, Bernice, you see between 18 and 30, that represented 43%. And then between 31 and 39 also represented 37%. And then between 40 to 49 represented 18%. From 50 years to 60, you have just about 3%, and then 60 and above, 2%.
So basically we had most of our respondents falling in the youth bracket.
Exactly. That is what happened as far as this particular survey is concerned. And then we also sought to look at the educational levels.
It's important.
It's also important. So that demographics, what you see here is that below senior secondary school and its equivalent only represented 2%. And then senior secondary school or its equivalent, those in senior high schools, if you want to put it that way, that represented 10%. Graduates represented 44%, and postgraduate was 46%. So it gives you, close to almost 90% of the people taking part in this survey being graduates and above. So postgraduate level, they are the ones that took part. So we're expecting that there should be some clear understanding of what they were doing.
All right, Norvan, so can you just quickly take us through some of the findings and what they really mean with regards to our quest, or what we sought to achieve, and the interpretation thereof of the statistics that we got?
Yes, just before I go through that, Bernice, I want us to look at the regional distribution in terms of what the people that took part. Now, you had the Greater Accra region representing 58%, and then Ashanti region followed with 10%. We had some 9% also from the Northern region. That's very interesting. And then you had 5% coming from the Eastern region, and also another 5% from the Central region. It goes on and on and on and on, over there. Now let's go to the first thing that we sought to look: familiarity with the budget. So do you know about it? Do you even have any anything as far as the budget is concerned? And it's interesting to know that you had close to 90% of the people saying yes. As far as so the question was actually, are you aware of the 2019 budget statement? So close to 90%, we actually round it up. And so that's why you see 90% over there. And then just a little less than that saying, no, they are not aware as far as the 2019 budget, as was read by the finance minister, is concerned. Then we moved on. How did you come to know about it? That is about the 2019 budget. How do these people find? Then you have 29% of the people say they watched it live on TV. 30% told us they listened to the budget statement live on radio. And then you have 34% indicating that I have followed discussions in the media, whilst you have 8% who said, I read its key provisions in the newspaper. So this is how people, come to know about the budget itself. We move on to the next question. How do you rate your familiarity of the specific details in the budget statement? And there, the ratings were from 1 to 5, with 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. And if you take a look at it, you have 28% of it rating it at 3, and then 25% rating it at 4, and then you also had 15% 5, and then 1, which is the 1 star, was just 17% of them, doing that rating for us. And we look at the general impressions of the budget. We start to just find out, which of the following best describes your key impression of the budget? And the key things. And
that's where the interesting answers start coming
exactly.
up.
You see that this is a budget that will change the lives of the ordinary people. That's just about 15% of the people. That's what they said. And then this budget will do nothing to alleviate the difficulties people face. That was 20% of the people. 21% of the people said the budget addresses the fundamental issues facing the Ghanaian economy. And then 24% indicated that this budget will not solve the fundamental questions facing the Ghanaian economy. So that is what the people had to say. Just 9% of them said these promises made in the budget are unachievable or unsustainable. So clearly, you have majority of the people who took part in this survey indicating that they think that the budget will not solve the fundamental questions facing the Ghanaian economy. Bernice.
Interesting, Norvan. I know we're just trying to get more statistics from this particular survey, but generally, in general terms, what did we find from this survey?
Okay, so in general terms, you got to know that a lot more people, or the people who took part, the 188 people who took part in this budget, really do not think that the budget would really do anything as far as, impacting on their lives is concerned. And they had their own things that they think government even should be looking at in terms of issues of priority, what they are thinking in their head, what they think that government should be looking at. And if you look at that, so from your own understanding of the budget statement, what do you think was the main issue the finance minister sought to address with this budget? And if you look at this, the graph or the pie chart here shows you 26% of the people saying address the country's infrastructure deficit. And then you have 35%, which is the biggest chunk of it. They were saying that I am not sure what this budget is meant to achieve. So a greater number of people really listening to the budget, whether on radio, watching on TV, reading the newspapers, following the discussions as was ongoing, even on social media or new media, clearly did not see what the budget sought to, tell them as far as, the budget 2019 is concerned.
So quickly, when we move to the last slide, which for me is quite interesting because we have said time without a number, that a lot of people cannot appreciate the budget because of the technicalities, and many of them have been suggesting ways the document can be made accessible to them, and also how they can further appreciate it, Norvan.
Yes, if you look at that, what was interesting with regards to that particular one, I quickly want us to look at a group of people who will benefit from the budget. Let's move on to that one. A lot of them felt that, we need to do away with the jargons I mean, there are too many technical words. It should be presented in very simple language. That's what a lot of these people were thinking. And this is that particular graph. So in your view, how can the budget document be made more accessible and better disseminated to the ordinary people? And if you look at what we have here, 42% of the people said it should be shorter with less technical jargons. Clear cut what they are looking for as far as the budget is concerned. Then you had about 18% also, there should be local language versions available to them. And then 20% of the people said post-budget education should be intensified. And then you also had quite 13% free copies should be made available to district assemblies, public libraries, schools. And so people think that when the budget is read, they expect that when the finance minister stands before parliament, not everybody went to school to probably read economics. Okay. Not everybody understands some of the key terms. You talk of GDP, and people are asking, what do you mean by GDP? You talk of inflation. They don't even understand how these things are calculated and what its impact is as far as the economy is concerned. So they're expecting the finance minister, when next time he comes to parliament, touch wood, if he comes for mid-year budget review or just decides to come and give us a statement on how they have performed half a year, they expect him to this time or going forward use simple language. The budget should be made accessible to people. They expect that the post-budget education should continue so that you can have more people taking part. We know the consultations that takes place before even the budget is read. What kind of consultation do we do, and how do we explain to people what we want to do and how that will impact their lives? Maybe that's the reason why they are saying that they don't think this will impact their lives. If they understood, they could probably come back and say, I think this part of the budget will be part of my life.
Thank you very much, Northern Akwahi, for bringing us some details from the iPoll survey conducted in collaboration with JoyBusiness on the 2019 budget.